Well, well, well. Here we are again, season 4 of the Apex Sim Racing E-Series Showdown. Of course, presented by Apex Sim Racing Custom Racing Gear. What's going on, everybody? Glad to have you here on Rebel Racing Network. I'm Eddie Smith and glad to be back here in Apex. And we are set for a fantastic season. And tonight, we're at Daytona, man. Cannot get any better than this track right here. It's always the best way to start a season. Fight me if you got anything to say against it. Man, these guys are going to be hitting high banks, 20 drivers here in Apex. Of course, we know all about Daytona International Speedway, but for those of you who don't know, it's, of course, 2.5 miles. You've got 31 degrees of banking. You try to stand on that, you're going to fall over. You can see right there. That's steep banking on them corners. 18 degrees in travel. That keeps these trucks wide open and fast. Of course, Daytona Beach, Florida. Opened in 1959. I mean, it's a legendary speedway. There's just something about Daytona. It's just a run-of-the-mill super speedway. I mean, all it is a 2.5 mile high-banked oval. What's so special about it? Well, I think it's the drivers who make it special. I think it is the history that makes it special. Of course, the Daytona 500, while just a run-of-the-mill race if you really think about it. But boy, when those Cup drivers get out there in February, it means everything in the world. So tonight, same type of deal. Man, somebody's looking forward to getting their season started off right with a win here at Daytona. And there's 20 drivers up for grabs. So got a lot of sponsors this season. As always, we'll go through them real quick. Just highlight them. Of course, we've got your Chuck Peg Leg Pole Award. Chuck Peg Leg feels going to appreciate his support. Going to highlight the pole award winner each week. We've got some new ones. Low Cash Motorsports Starting Grid. Glad to have them on board. Of course, we got the Trigger Time Jammed Up Award. For those hard luck drivers getting just a bad situation, something out of their control, and they get jammed up. That's the Trigger Time Indoor Shooting Range Jammed Up Award. Got the Kyle Roberts Handmade Leather Hard Charger Award. And, of course, post-race interviews by Po Man. So, and as always, got to thank our sponsor, Apex Sim Racing. Man, check out their website. They've got a fantastic site. Just a little look at it right here. Check out what they got going on. Got all kinds of high-quality sim racing products. You see the reviews there. Look at 5 stars across the board. I can't imagine why when they're handmade like these are just worth every penny. And you see they got all kinds of stuff. So go check them out, apexsimracing.com. And check them out, man. They got everything you need. So go check those boys out. Well, here we are at Daytona. And what are we expecting tonight? We've got 75 laps of just high-speed racing. And we're going to get ready to get gridding up in just a few minutes. But I'll tell you what, as always, let's talk to some folks. Let's see what some guys are feeling tonight. We'll show you who we got on webcam tonight. We got 5 drivers on webcam. Some of the normal folks, we got Chuck, we got Kyle Roberts, we got Matt No Net Clemens. We got Charles Stevens, and of course Aaron Adcock, the head honcho. Let's bring Aaron up in here and let's talk to him. Aaron, my mic is messing up. Let's see if we can get it to work. Discord's not pulling up my mic. This is not good. Aaron, it's Eddie in the booth. You got me? Well, man, sorry about that. Had a little mic issue, but, man, here we are. Race number 1, Season 4, Apex Sim Racing, E-Series Showdown. Tell me, man, how you feeling? You ready to go tonight?
It's been a long off season. Kind of ready to get back into the flow of things and get this season going, and hopefully I can start it off on a high note and lock myself into the playoffs early where I don't have to do all that racing your way in kind of junk.
Well, Po Man always a threat here in this series. You got a little sister team in Low Cash Motorsports. Expecting to see a big team up tonight. Can we expect that?
Yeah, it's I don't know when it'll all happen or when it'll all unfold, but it's a long race tonight. We're doing stage break at lap 15, and so we'll take a little bit of a break. It'll probably be exciting. There are a few guys trying to get stage points for the top 5, and once we go back and start strategizing on try to win this thing and put at least one team in victory lane, whether it be Po-Man or Low Cash. So I was proud to bring those guys on board. We had so many guys, I guess you'd say, in the bullpen, and just didn't have enough room for them in Po-Man, and they're going to make a heck of a team for Low Cash. And I wouldn't be surprised if we're not a threat to win every week, at least out of one team. So looking forward to the season. Appreciate you being here to broadcast it for us, and hope to put on a show for everybody at the house.
All right. Well, there you have it. Aaron Adcock sounding pretty. He's ready to go, I think. And it's going to be a fantastic season. Of course, he's the head honcho over here at Apex E-Series. So he keeps this thing rolling. Man, does a great job. But rolling we are, as, man, we have got all 20 drivers out on track as the pace car is leading the trucks around. Interesting to see the pace car. Normally you got a pace truck, but that'll help me out because I can call it a pace car. You see the sun is setting on the track. The sun is setting on Season 3 and getting ready to start Season 4. We've got all kinds of racing ready to go. But I'm ready to see the start of this race. 75 laps, you heard it, competition caution at lap 15. So going to have a bunch of racing here. We'll see how racy guys want to be here early before the competition caution, and then we'll see how they all play out and decide to strategize and get all this, all the teamwork and stuff. Something to think about. Lots of teamwork. We'll have to get through the teams. I don't know. There might have been some team movement. I know some of them. We'll assume some and may be wrong, but I think we'll see who's working with who as the race progresses on. The pace car getting ready to head down pit road, and we're going to get this thing started. Barney has the flag in hand. Pace car ducks off of pit road. Season 4 Apex Sim Racing E-Series Showdown is green. Chris Bedwell with a fantastic start. Going to spread that bottom line out just a little bit as looks like Kyle Roberts leading that top line. We didn't talk about the grid, but the grid was already set. So we'll go through everybody as the race goes. Oh, we got a big wreck already. Back here in the back. Got cars going around. Who is that? Matt Clemens and Anthony Edgerton going around. Yellow flag is out on lap 1. So caution is out. You see Anthony Edgerton already with some damage to that 77 machine. Let's go back and see what happened. Kinder Farm and Ranch Wreckage Rewind. Going down to the corner. Oh, it looks like Willie Evernham may have gotten into the back of Matt Clemens. I think it looks like Willie Evernham in that 91 machine. We'll go back here on board with Matt Clemens here. You see the 91. Oh, the 75 has to check up. That top line checking up, just trying to take it easy. And some folks checking up a little bit, maybe too hard than what folks are ready for. And so that brings out the caution. So already guys having to come down, get faster pairs. Anthony Edgerton and Matt Clemens. You see Clemens smoking. Hopefully he can make it through his stall. But already early on in this race, tough deal. So first caution on lap 1, and just an effect of folks really just taking their time, taking it easy, and it just kind of jumbled up the field. So we'll see how that plays out going forward. Mike Presley and Alan Smith deciding to come down pit road. that number 44 Tennessee Vols paint scheme with the number 3 Sugar Time Chevrolet right behind him. Like to come down pit road, get some early fuel, maybe get out of the mess, try to go to the back. Probably not a bad strategy if you're trying to get out of. Especially, it's also good to really get connected with your teammates. You can come down pit road, sort of get connected up with your teammates, not be so spread out, and get together, especially under caution. Definitely do not want to do that under green flag conditions. So tough start here for Apex, but we got to get all the rust out. Oh, it's been a while. Good grief. It's been probably 3 months at this point that we've been off. So got a lot of rust to shake off. We'll get some good racing in soon. Well, talking about who do I expect to see? I mean, there's just so many drivers. So many amazing drivers. Of course, Chris Bedwell leading right now. He is one of the premier drivers in the series. Always a threat for the championship. And so definitely looking for him to do something really special this season. Kyle Roberts has really improved on his driving skill over the last year and a half that I've really got to know Kyle. And I tell you what, he really shines at these plate tracks, though. He is always up front. He is, if you need a pusher, to push somebody, I'm gonna be honest with you, Kyle Roberts is that guy. So be looking out for him. Looks like we're getting doubled up here. As I try to get one thing sort of shaped up a little bit here. Might see the overlay just pop off just for a second. As get a little bit of early season stuff for me. I mean, these guys made it to lap 1. I'm going to have some issues as well. So let's see if we can highlight there. Get these paint schemes on the overlay as they kind of go around. We'll check on that in a little bit. But we are side by side. Doubled up, ready to go green here on lap 4 after the caution on lap 1 that saw quite a few drivers headed the wrong direction. But looks like everybody able to get back on the track. Anthony Edgerton here. Back on track, Matt Clement as well in that 19 machine. So these guys back on the track. Fast repairs used, though. That's pretty dang early, so they'll have to be a little bit more patient and hopefully try to miss these wrecks moving forward. All right, pace car headed off into pit road once again. Green flag is out. Chris Bedwell going to lead us down to the green yet again. He's got a big gap there back to the 27 of Michael Nash, who is going to jump up in that top line. So Bedwell sort of all by himself there. And you see that Lucas Oil number 8 paint scheme modeled after Kyle Busch's Cup car. Going to come meet him down there on the bottom line, but Kyle Roberts going to take over the lead with Josh Lokenvitz on the outside. So that train on top side doing really, really good early on. As you saw, Bedwell kind of got left out to dry with Michael Nash jumps up to the top line. So bottom line, going to need a little bit of time these next couple laps to get back up to speed, get wound up. Bottom line, always strong, so I would expect to see them getting tightened up there, get some more numbers. You see a lot of guys hanging out back trying to miss the wrecks. As right now the front pack is about 8 people, it looks like. Then we got a second group forming up here with Joseph Mahar as the lead car. And a whole group of folks back here just hanging out, chilling out, staying away from the lead group. I mean, they're two major packs at this point. You see the difference there. It looks like Mahar maybe have some damage and might be the reason why folks are there's such a gap there. So I don't know what happened, if that was intentional or what, but yeah, it definitely looks like he has some damage on the front end of that 46 machine. Back up front, though, Kyle Roberts still with the lead. But here comes Chris Bedwell with that momentum from the bottom line, as the bottom line has started to gain a lot more numbers. You see quite a few drivers down on the bottom. So that bottom line going to be pushed out ahead, has what it needs. But, man, these top two up on the top side of Kyle Roberts, Josh Lukovitz doing a great job of sort of controlling that top line, keeping them out front. So far, so good after that early caution. We've got a pack of about 13, 14 drivers in this main pack, as Aaron Adcock leads the second pack, as folks having to go around. Looks like Joseph Mahar with some sort of damage. We talked about earlier, you see a little po-man train here trying to run down the front few drivers. I got to tell you what, that 17 truck looks pretty dang solid, I have to admit. I mean, just no good camera angles to show you, though, apparently. But you'll see it. That 17 looks really, really clean with that Apex Sim Racing gear. I like it. Back up front, right now, your top 10, Chris Bedwell, Kyle Roberts, Kip Easley. A couple drivers that are new, we'll highlight those. Kip Easley, one of those, Michael Nash, George Williams, Charles Stevens, James Kunkel, Daniel Holdcroft, Anthony McPherson, Mike Presley, Alan Smith, Aaron Adcock, Tracy Passage, Chuck Feltz is your top 15. Matt Clement, Joseph Mahar, Dana Shepard, Anthony Edgerton, Willie Evernham rounds out your field. As we were trying to get things going, missed the grid, but that's your drivers in the race tonight. Right now, Chris Bedwell out in front. Coming up on lap 10 here as we're on board with Chris Bedwell. He's getting a big push from the 8 of Kip Easley, excuse me. But so far, so good. It's still been Kyle Roberts and Chris Bedwell just going back and forth off the 79 and the 27, or the 8, excuse me. Oh, and Bedwell gets a nice little shove from the 8. He actually gets him loose, so it got a little bit squirrely. Let's go on board with Charles Stevens. Up on that top line, right behind Michael Nash. Ford truck just, you know, honestly, the top line sort of feels like the safest spot. You don't really feel pinched down to the apron when you're up top, so you can really just kind of take it easy and hang out. You see him have to lift there as the field sort of checks up just a little bit. That's something that you're constantly dealing with. You're having to deal with checkups. You have the draft, but you can't go anywhere with it. You're trying to stay in line, and you either drag the brake a little bit or you lift off the throttle, just whatever you need to do. Out of those two options, lifting off the throttle, running about 80% throttle will give you a little bit of gas saving, so not a bad strategy. As we've got a little change of position here as Kip Easley takes over the lead of that bottom line. Looks like they may have swapped positions there. And now that top line starting to fall back just a little bit, as these drivers down here on the bottom line are really, really tight. So the bottom has sort of an advantage right now, but there's really not much going on. There's not, I hate to say, there's not that much racing. It's more just surviving, trying to maintain those lines. Chris Bedwell trying to make sure that the 8 stays even or pretty dang close with Kyle Roberts. But normally you see this in a lot of the official races where the top line will get a big run, jump down in front of the driver on the bottom. But you're not seeing that tonight as teammates are trying to work together. So you see the 35 and 79 obviously working together. And Kyle, when he gets out front, he's not pulling down. So there's really nowhere for guys to go. If you're back 4 or 5 in line, you don't really have anywhere to go at this point unless you're willing to go 3 wide. It's a little bit early for that. So, but lap 15 should be having a competition caution soon. As there it is, your competition caution is out, and Kip Easley is your leader at the moment of caution. Well, all right, competition caution is out. What are folks going to do? I would imagine everybody's going to hit pit road. Get loaded up on fuel, maybe a set of tires. Who knows what folks will do? They don't necessarily need tires at Daytona, so but Kip Easley, your winner. As I tell you what, trying to troubleshoot early season broadcast and stuff on the during the race, not a good way of doing it. But we got it all fixed up now, and man, we got all kinds of folks coming down pit road, pit lane. Obviously, going to be wide open. Nobody is going to stay out. What are you going to do? Take 4 tires? Take no tires? 2 tires? You're going to have to fill up with fuel. Some have come down pit road and filled up earlier, so they won't have as much. I would imagine we'll see maybe some 2 tires, but I think a lot of just fuel only. I don't think we'll see too many 4-tire stops. As you see Kyle Roberts and Chris Bedwell first off of pit road. Here comes Michael Nash along with Kip Easley. Sorry about that. Gonna keep saying that over and over again all night. But Kyle Roberts is going to lead off a pit road. And I'll tell you what, while we're under yellow, let's talk to Kyle. Kyle Roberts is Eddie.
What's up, Eddie?
In the booth. Well, tell me what's up. You've been up front all race long so far. Competition caution is now out, and now we're setting ourselves up for the run to the finish. How you feeling about tonight? What's your plan, and what's your strategy moving forward?
Well, I feel pretty good getting out of the pits, then getting the pole on the restart. So I feel pretty good about it. I got my teammates behind me. I think it'll be good.
Well, we saw you during that first little stint, working the top side with Josh Lokovitz and doing a really good job of staying together. And I noticed, usually guys will go up front and kind of drop down to that bottom line, but teamwork going to reign supreme here tonight. Is that sort of the reason why you kept staying up top?
Yeah, for sure, because we had 3 teammates lined up on the outside, so we weren't going to jeopardize leaving somebody out to dry or anything like that. We figured it was all going to shake itself out. We knew we were going to have a competition caution to where we could, reshuffle and stuff and hope we get out on the bottom line on this restart to where I don't have to worry about trying to shuffle down and get on the bottom line to get fuel next time. So we're gonna see how it shakes out and run this thing dry this one.
There you go. All right, Kyle Roberts. Good job, man, so far. We'll see how you end up.
Hey, thanks, man.
There you go, Kyle Roberts. Feeling confident after that first stint, got the lead. You can't get any more confident than that. But it looks like Willie Evernham just coming out of pit road. Maybe had some damage that he needed to fix, so checking in on that. Josh Lokovitz, who we saw pushing Kyle for the majority part of that race, was on pit road for quite a while, so don't know exactly what happened to him. He is caught up to the field, but he is currently back in the 19th position. So don't know what happened to Josh. Maybe that was a purposeful reason. Maybe he's blinking out. I don't know. He disappears on me, but here we go. Pace car is off. And green flag is out. Race to the finish here in the first race of the season. Apex Sim Racing Gear E-Series Showdown. And Kyle Roberts with a nice jump out front here with Michael Nash right on his bumper. And it looks like Josh Lokovitz doing that on purpose, hanging around in the back, maybe trying to stay out of some trouble. There you see Charles Stevens, Tracy Passons on the outside. Here comes Joseph Mahar too with that crumbled up front end. Looks like got aluminum foil on the front of that 46 machine, but he's getting up in the mix. We saw some folks really kind of leaving him out to dry early on. So I don't know if his damage was really that bad, but he looks like he's okay right here. But excited to see how this all shakes out. There's so many strategies, guys taking it easy. We see that a lot in actual NASCAR, guys just hanging around the back until it's time to cash the check. And Kyle Roberts going to go up by himself without his teammate. Michael Nash does go up and help him. So Poman train up on the top side. That's going to leave Chris Bedwell with his teammate right behind him, I'm assuming, because that 8 has been locked to the bumper of that 99 machine. And, somebody down on the inside. That is Matt Clement deciding maybe to just get out of the mess. We know he's already lost one passenger pair on that lap 1 wreck, so maybe he just hopped out and said, we'll just hang around back here and just save our truck. But up front, it is business picking up. Got all kinds of new folks up here. We got Alan Smith in that number 3 machine. Trigger time looks like a I reckon that looks like a Chase Elliott scheme, I think. A good-looking scheme there for the number 3 machine. He is up in the mix. Talked to him a little bit before the race as he, I don't know where he's going. I think he's wanting to go to the back too. Well, heck, if we all go to the back, we can't always all be back there. I don't know what happened to the 3 machine. He's actually off the pace. I don't know if he got loose or what, but he's going to lose the draft here. Not really sure what happened to the 3 machine. See if we can go back and hopefully we won't miss any action. Let's see if we can go back and find out what happened to him. Here he is. Oh, I don't know. I see him get a little bit of that apron, but it didn't look like... Yeah, it looks like maybe it was just on purpose. He wanted to get out of the pack, but looks like he is able to get up to the back of it with a little bit of draft. So thought he might be in danger of losing the draft, but he's able to stick with it. So it looks like a purposeful decision to get out of that lead pack. Maybe feeling a little bit uncomfortable. Raced Daytona the other night in the Rebels Truck Series, and had a guy that was up front all race long and just randomly decided to jump out of the pack, go all the way to the back, and not half a lap later there was a wreck right where he was. So sometimes that intuition will pay off, and you'll get that feeling of something's not right here. Kind of like walking in the woods or something and just kind of get that feeling something's not right. I think you kind of have that here in some of these races. Just start to feel how guys are moving around. The pushes are a little bit too aggressive than you're ready for, and so sometimes that intuition will save you and keep you from having a tore-up truck. Right now, Chris Bedwell, though, out front, really commanding this lead, but Kyle Roberts, again, battling on the outside. So let's check in on some drivers. Matt Clement. In that number 19 machine, we saw him jump to the back, and you can see he's got a healthy gap back to the back end of Dana Shepard in that 43. You could definitely hear him working that throttle, trying to either save a little bit of gas, but just stay out of the wreck. Then gum it. First lap of the race, lose your fast repair. You just hate to do that. Now, you kind of feel hamstrung. You feel like you can't race. You feel like you can't really get up into the mix until the last minute. Because you just don't have that fast repair to fall back on. So he's doing the right thing, I think. Just hanging in the back, trying to make sure that when that wreck happens, he's able to avoid it. Of course, him and Alan Smith are probably back there battling for who's going to be in the back. He's probably like, I want to be in the back. And Alan Smith's like, no, I'm going to be behind you. And I tell you what, it could be super nerve-wracking, too, because you're wanting to go to the back. That way you can get on the brakes, get slowed down, and you got somebody right up your tailpipe trying to do the same thing. And you're like, well, I hope you could slow down whenever the wreck happens. So, but both of them doing a good job trying to hang on to their truck, save it to the end. Want to thank Kinder Farm and Ranch for the Wreckage Rewind, of course. We've already had one of them up there, but just wanted to mention them. Kinder Farm and Ranch, a mainstay here on Rebel Racing Network, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Pretty quiet right now to see a newcomer up front, and that is Daniel Holdcroft in that number 2 Camping World. He is up 15 spots from where he started, so if he could finish this way, it'd be a pretty nice. He'd love to get the win, but if you can get that Kyle Roberts handmade leather hard charger award. I'll take that one as well. Oh, see Chris Bedwell jumping down to the apron. As he drops like a rock all the way down. Looks like another decision to get out of the pack, feeling uncomfortable. As that's going to give Kip Easley the lead with the number 2 right behind him. So maybe just I don't know. It's hard to say what's going on. If we get a caution, we'll ask a couple of these guys what's going on that makes them nervous. But yeah, I mean, just you're racing around new people. There may be folks you don't know, and you just don't know how they're going to react. Maybe one shove a little bit too much and made you feel nervous, and jump back and say, you know what, I need to breathe a little bit and go to the back and just kind of take a breath. Because I tell you, when you're up front like this and you're pushing on the back bumper, somebody you're getting pushed, you're locked arms, you're white knuckling it, you're holding your breath if you're Tracy Passons, and sometimes you're not breathing. You're just sitting there holding your breath as you're just trying to make sure you can keep that truck under control. And dadgummit, if a lot of these guys they're getting up there, put a little old, put a little age on these guys, and they can't handle it for too long. Got to go back there and breathe a little bit. Of course, while we got some time, definitely want to shout out to Chuck Pegleg Felts and the Pegleg Pole Award winner, and the Low Cash Motorsports starting grid. Sort of missed the going through the grid. It did not like the the grid being set from the duels last week, so could not get it to roll. But we'll definitely get those guys some screen time next week. Get that grid going. Of course, Chris Bedwell, your Chuck Pegleg Pole Award winner. But up front, Kip Easley leading this race in that 8 machine. As laps are ticking down, 45 laps to go here. I tell you what, a lot of good paint schemes on the track tonight. I'm loving. So we got some old tried and true schemes like the 35 machine of Kyle Roberts. We got the Winn-Dixie scheme of the 27 of Michael Nash. And then we got some guys with some new schemes. Charles Stevens Jr. in that 88 machine. Got him a new scheme. Tracy Passons with the old tried and true 53. And Chris Bedwell with a new scheme this season. So a lot of folks and a lot of the new guys up front. The 8, got the number 2 Camping World, the 48 Valvoline. I mean, you put Valvoline on truck, you're always in the running. If there was a best paint of the night, that Valvoline would win it every time. We'll have to make them numbers a little bit bigger, though, I think. We're about 2 font sizes too short on them numbers. Not too much change. Michael Nash. Oh, Kyle Roberts does jump down in front of the 8 machine, so the teammate's going to try to control each lane. Is Nash going to control the top lane, and Kyle Roberts going to control the bottom? We saw that a lot. When people are only willing to go too wide, having a teammate on the front of each line is super, super important and valuable to control in this race. It makes it very difficult for folks to pass, though. Go check back here. Willie Evernham, Josh Lokovitz, both these drivers off the pace. Don't know what happened. Looks like Josh Lokovitz having some internet issues, so that may be part of the reason why he kind of backed out of everything and went to the back. Not really sure what's going on with these drivers. We saw Willie Evernham kind of slow coming out of pits. So these guys probably hoping for a caution. As you see, they are going to need it soon as, man, they got the pack coming right behind them. So it won't be too long. These guys are going to get swallowed up by the pack. You see them right back there. Oh, we got a wreck. My goodness, I turned away for 2 seconds, and we got cars going everywhere. So caution is out. You see the 43 at Dana Shepard all tore up. Joseph Mahar again with some issues. Got the 29 drivers flying down pit road, entering probably a closed pit there, but they may have enough damage that it could hurt them. But another big wreck. Let's see if we can go back and see what happened. Oh, we saw Michael Nash was already getting a big push here from the Charles Stevens, and just push, and it gets right there on that right side of the back bumper, and that's all she wrote. You can just see the two cars not getting together just right. Charles doing the best that he can, kind of goes, you see he's just kind of going back and forth, and then Michael Nash moves down, and everything's good until right there. It's like maybe Michael had got a little bit closer trying to side draft, and when he did, whoop, that right there was all she wrote, as he's going to take the right hook into the wall. And second big wreck as Tracy passes, goes around. Joseph Mahar with nowhere to go. George Williams with damage, as Alan Smith comes to a complete stop to miss this thing. Let's see what he saw. See Matt Clement right in front of him. Let's see if Matt was able to avoid the wreck as well. You see there, hard on the brakes. Matt really, oh no! Matt Clement gets a piece of that at the end. Oh, so frustrating. You hear him on the brakes, but just not able to slow up in time. See the wreck happen. He's still on the gas, so I don't know if he just didn't know how bad it was, but definitely it took him a little bit for him to get on the brakes. Probably just not able to see it just yet, but when he did, he got on the brakes. You see the RPMs dropping. He's trying to get down to the apron, but man, just nowhere to go. So frustrating, especially just riding around back, trying to avoid this thing. Let's see how Alan Smith did as we hit the little rewind. You see Alan, good Lord. He can't even turn the truck. He's on the brakes so hard, locking up the front tire. But he was able to get that thing slowed up, and he just waits for everything to settle. And he was able to miss that thing and save that number 3. Currently, Anthony Edgerton leading the race, but likes to come down pit road here, and that gives it over to Kyle Roberts. Let's see if we can maybe talk to some folks under caution. Let's see. Well, we will talk to them in a minute if we get another caution. It looks like they are doubled up and ready to go. Go down the back straightaway. So in that last caution, Dana Shepard, Joseph Mahar, Tracy Passons, Charles Stevens, Matt Clement, George Williams, and others involved in that wreck. So that was a pretty big wreck. Probably used a lot of fast repairs. Unfortunately, Tracy Passons has already used it or had to tow one. He had some major damage. So I believe he had to tow. He should have his fast repair, but probably going to lose a lap or more as he waits on that to finish. But those tows, if you're not able to get back to pit road, it sort of simulates a tow and the time that it takes. Once it completes, you're able to use that fast repair and get back in this thing. But you see this field looking really thin right here as we're going to come down and take the green flag. And you got a lot of folks just hanging around in the back. Maybe 4 guys on the top line. So that last wreck really making guys nervous. But up front, Kyle Roberts. Stay out front. You're not going to have to worry about what's going on behind you. And he's doing a fantastic job staying out front right now with the 8 of Kip Easley right behind him. 48 of James Kunkel behind him. Up on the top line, you got Daniel Holdcroft with Aaron Adcock. Looks like Josh Lokovitz back in the action. Yeah, the 79 machine back up at the front where he was all race long. He's pushing his teammate. But Kyle continues to lead as that top line performing up pretty well. I would imagine to see them start to attack as 95 and George Williams gets to the back bumper of the 79 machine up on the top row. Looks like Matt Clement back down pit road as here comes Chris Bedwell as he ain't waiting around for nobody. Takes it 3 wide. It's Holcroft going to pull up in front of him, and that's going to open the door. That really slows him down. And so now Bedwell going to go back down to the inside. Holcroft really taking some liberties there, trying to jump up in front of that and block that lane, and in doing so actually pulled the parachute out and allowed the 17 machine to go by. And now Aaron Adcock trying to lead that top line, but Chris Bedwell going to leave him out to dry. As George Williams all over the back bumper to that 95 machine. So that run to the front the 95 was making got stalled for just a second, but he ain't waiting around. He is going for it, trying to get up to the front. Lots of movement out of that 40 and 95. Makes me a little bit nervous. We already saw that go wrong. You see the 40 get to that right side bumper. You got to be careful. In the turns, it's not so bad because the car is loaded up. But on a straightaway, you do not want to push the driver on that right side of that back bumper. We already saw that happen in that last wreck. But I am very, very impressed how this 40 and 95 are linking up going to the front. There he goes. Out front. They're on that lap, and Joseph Mahar in that 46 machine gets to their back bumper. Got somebody down on the bottom. Looks like maybe Dana Shepard. Oh, the 48 is going to go down on the apron. He's going to come back up on the track. And the 40 of George C. Williams does a fantastic job of avoiding that as the 48 gets out of shape, goes down to the apron, comes back on the track. Everybody able to avoid that. But woo, that was a very, very close call. 48 able to get it back going. But that really broke up this pack. You see just so much separation as folks are just a little bit nervous right now. But up front, Chris Bedwell still battling for the lead. You see the push from the 8 to the 35. Pushes him out a little bit ahead. Here comes the 17 of Aaron Adcock. Had a nice run, but doesn't have any help, so he's going to have to settle in that third line. He's got his teammate behind him. What's he going to do? Those drivers in front of him not wanting to work with him, so will he go 3 wide and go for the lead like they did. Definitely can see the top line with all the momentum. Have to check up just a little bit. Charles Stevens actually backs out quite a bit to keep that rubber band effect from causing another wreck. But here goes Chris Bedwells. He's going to take the top side, going to drop down to the bottom and take over the top spot. So George C. Williams, I mean, I got to give him a lot of credit. Now, he's the reason why Chris Bedwell is currently in the lead with a great push from the 40. And if I'm in the race, I'm making a note of that. You want to work with your teammates, but there's going to be a time where you get down to the end, and there's no choice but to work with somebody. And if I'm around that 40 truck at the end of the race, I'm making a mental note saying, hey, as Chris Bedwell goes down to the apron again, I can't tell if it's on purpose or if he's getting pushed out of line. It looks like it may be on purpose. I don't know. I'm scared to go back and check it out and see what happened because we might miss a wreck, but we're gonna. See here the 95 machine. So far, so good as they enter into turn one. This is a replay. See Kyle get to that back bumper, and on the backstretch is where he that's hard to say. It looks like there was some contact. You saw a little push on that left side. I don't know if it got the 95 a little bit loose, but definitely looked like there might have been some contact that put him towards the back. So. We saw him get up out front already. I'm sure he could do it again. As they come by the complete lap. 44 to 45. 30 laps to go. They're clicking off pretty quickly right now as we're having some really nice green flag racing. Oh, and Joseph Haar is getting loose. So I don't know if these guys are dealing with a loose condition. I don't know if the truck gets light with somebody on your back bumper. We've already seen quite a few guys get so nervous that they jumped out of line or got really slow. So, something to think about to the end of this thing. Right now, it is tight up at the front. George Williams leading that top line. Kyle Roberts buying him a condo up front. Well, it's a great time to figure out what your truck can do. See what you can make happen. I mean, Chris Bedwell drove to the front from the back of this pack already, and he knows he can do it. So he's got that skill already established, knowing that he can do that whenever he needs to. So he can just hang back and wait maybe for a wreck, but when the time comes, he knows he's got what it takes to get up there. So if you're up front, you're pushing, you're shoving, you're seeing what can work, you're getting pushed. Feeling the difference in the car. That way, when it comes down to white flag and you're in striking position, you know what moves you can make, what you can do, who you can work with. Frankly, on the last lap, there's not too many people you can trust, even your teammates. There are, though, some teammates, man, that will take second place and make sure their teammate wins. We'll see if we got any of those in the field tonight. Somebody we haven't talked to that much in that top line, that's Chuck Feltz. currently running in the 8th position. Chuck, one of those drivers, is absolutely a threat to win this thing. He is like a surgical knife with these plate tracks. He knows how to stay out of trouble for the most part. He can make the decision on when and where to go. Always seems to find himself up front. And right now, less than 30 laps to go, he is up front, positioning himself for the end of this race. So he's not being too aggressive, staying there. Having about half a truck gap between him and the 88 machine, just trying to maintain that, stay, the front two of each lane, they're the ones who can push. Everybody else really can't push. So Charles Stevens, there's no point in pushing that 17 machine. It does no good. You just want to get as close as you can to that back bumper. And you see Chuck Phelps doing a great job of leaving a buffer there for if Charles needs to check up, like right there. Chuck's able to react and not have that accordion effect. So Chuck doing a fantastic job of staying with his teammates, but not being so aggressive that you see he gets loose. I don't know if he got a push or if we're just getting loose. I'm not real sure. But, man, you saw the 75 there. Let's actually back it up. I know this kind of takes us out of the action, but just curious to see that loose conditions we saw. I mean, the 91 is nowhere near that 75 machine. So these guys are a little bit squirrely here. Either that or there was some net code from the 48 machine that caused that. But down on the apron, that's Josh Lokovitz. We saw him pushing the 17 up there, and now he's lost the field again. So I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know if it's the connection issues. He's just hopping out of the pack. If he's blinking real bad, that may be the case. But so far, been up front, just not really sure what's going on with the 79 machine. No change up front. George Williams still leading that top line with Kyle Roberts on the bottom. Like I said before, we got some new faces this season. Kip Easley up front, been up front all race long. Don't know exactly who he's affiliated with. Maybe his own team. But it's always weird joining a new league, especially an established one like Apex with a lot of folks who know each other. It's tough to come in and sort of earn that respect. But I tell you what, at Daytona, there's no better way to earn respect than being a good pusher, being somebody that sticks with somebody, not causing a bunch of wrecks. That's the easiest way to earn respect. And so far this race, the 8 has, just been solidly in the top 4 all race long, and has proven to be a pretty good pusher. At this point, not much going on, really just clicking off laps and being there at the end. That's the most important. I think as we get under 20 laps to go, 15, 10 laps to go, you better be close to the front. Now, I will say in the trucks, we already saw Chris Bedwell make it happen, but in the trucks, you are able to get big runs and use that momentum and make a lot of passes. So, versus maybe the Cup car or the Xfinity car. So you're able to generate those runs that you may not be able to in the Cup car, but Daytona not being as wide as Talladega, usually what you're going to see is guys really start to clog up those lanes and not able to go 3 wide, especially towards the end. So you really want to position yourself where you can do something, make a move, have some lanes to work with as you get down to the end of this thing. And that's usually what causes people to cause some wrecks, is guys changing lanes and making wild moves at the end. Speaking of changing lanes, Aaron Adcock drops down to to the bottom in front of his teammate Kyle Roberts and takes over the lead in the 17. Aaron Adcock leading this race with 22 laps to go. That's a good place to be. I like it. Up 17 spots from where he started. Currently the Hard Charger Award winner. He's got Kyle Roberts all over the back bumper of that 17. Oh, we got a wreck. I can't do nothing. Do a dadgum crank it up, and dadgummit if we don't have a wreck. And see the 17 involved. Joseph Mahar also involved. Seems like any time I try something cute, I get a dang wreck. Saw Chuck Feltz kind of sideways there for a little while. Let's go back and see what happened. Oh, looks like Chuck tried to clear himself down on the bottom and just not quite clear. You see he was able to get up front. Go see his teammate Charles Stevens. He pushes the 88 out to the lead. Charles going to take advantage, and Chuck just waiting just a little bit too long to make that move, and George was there. I mean, he was clear for quite a while, and I don't know if maybe he was concerned about the 48 or what was going on, but yeah, just going to see Chuck at the last minute try to get down to that inside, and that's what started its big contact there. The 17 gets a big hit. Kyle Roberts goes around. It's like most folks able to avoid them, but yeah, just an unfortunate deal there as we got pit stops happening. Yeah, unfortunate. Just like I said, just a little bit indecisive of when to maybe drop down to the bottom. Had the chance, and then maybe thought, if I had to guess, Chuck was probably trying to decide, do I stay up top and maybe position myself as the leader of that top line, and then decided at the last minute to come down. And unfortunately, George Williams was there. But we'll see who is able to get a fast repair, get back out there. Looks like George Williams able to get back out with little to no damage. He's going to have the lead. Charles Stevens as well. Looks like Charles maybe took tires there. Interesting call. With only 18 laps to go, might as well. Especially if you're going to take about a full tank of fuel, might as well go and get 4 tires while you're in there. Chuck Feltz. Still a little bit of damage on that truck. I don't know if there was enough. He didn't spend that much time on pit road, so maybe the damage is not too bad. as he just had a little bit, but definitely see that 75 still has a scrape on the side. Joseph Mahar still looks decent. Aaron Adcock got the brunt of it as he took a hard hit, and it looks like he did take his fast repairs. So the 17 machine currently running in 12th, but with a brand new race truck. Got Mark Cofield, Charles Stevens, Matt Rogers, and Kevin Kinder in chat if y'all are still in here. Glad to have y'all. The lights are off on the pace car. Gonna have 16 laps to go once we go green. I'm excited to see who's gonna take the win here in the first race of Apex Season 4. I have no clue who is it gonna be. I have no clue how to speak the English language either. But looking forward to see how this thing plays out. I mean, there's so many strong drivers in the field. I feel like the win could come from just about anywhere, especially now that we've got some trucks that have been up front, know how to operate up front, or now towards the back. This is anybody's race. George Williams has really proven himself to be a threat here. Charles Stevens Jr. as well, Chris Bedwell, Willie Evernham up there, back in the mix. Chuck Phelps, Kyle Roberts, and you got all those guys at the back. Kip Easley, who we talked about all night long, all the way at the back of this thing. So many drivers still left in this thing. Who's going to get a third lane going? That's what I want to see. As we get down to the end of this thing, that third lane going to open up. We're going to see some folks try it. That's going to be your only option. Matt Rogers said he's rooting for his team, Last Chance Racing. Absolutely. Well, George Williams gets a nose out front here down the back straightaway. He's got the 95 all over the back bumper. As you got two checked out racing teammates on the top side, Chris Bedwell, George Williams, obviously working well together. I actually seen Po-Man have a little bit of trouble working with each other. A couple guys with some pushes that went awry, and so really surprising to see those early season jitters start biting Po-Man, but they still have a lot of folks still left in this thing. Top line looking really, really strong. Charles Stevens just not getting the push that he needs to keep that bottom going. You see quite a few drivers up in that top line, and the bottom sort of spread out with Chuck with a big gap, and then right behind him is Anthony McPherson. But you see a lot of movement in that top line, so you know they are really, really pushing the issue. And patience is going to start to run out as we have 14 laps to go. Who's going to duck out and make it 3 wide? You know that George has no intention of taking the lead, I would imagine, or he would have already done it. He's been out front enough, but he's not wanting to leave his teammate, the number 95, as that would split them up, and definitely want your teammate behind you if you can. Man, I got a feeling that there is going to be another big one. There's just so much moving around, guys doing all kinds of aggressive pushing, especially back here in the back a little bit. Up front, that's fine, but towards the back, in middle of the pack here, really can't do too much pushing. That can go bad quickly. Almost got both those drivers out front. Wonder if they're going to stick to the top side or try to jump down to the bottom like we've seen so many folks do so far. I just don't know what's going on with Charles Stevens. He's just not getting the push that he needs. Well, they're right there. He does get some momentum. I think the 88 really needs the 91 to get to his back bumper and stay pretty close. And you see right there, he gives him a shove going down to the corner. That should give them quite a good lead going down into turn number 3, and it does. So Charles probably coming on the radio saying, hey, Willie, push me. $11 laps to go here in the first race of the season. Who is going to be the winner here tonight at Daytona? As always, thank y'all for watching. Hope y'all enjoyed the broadcast. We'll continue to get better every week that we're on the track. As the run from the top side, you can see how massive it is. That bottom line really has to check up a little bit. The 91 gets to the back of the bumper of the 88, and equalizes it a little bit. So that's what you got to do if you're that second car in line, especially on the bottom. You've got to push those guys. As the 28 actually backs off of Chuck Feltz there on that bottom line, so a huge gap there. But the 91 has such a bill. Here the 48 going to go to the outside of Kyle Roberts, going to make it 3 wide. He's ready to go. Oh, they start to squeeze just a little bit. There goes Checked Out Racing to the top line to block it. That leaves Joseph Mahar and Kyle Roberts all by themselves in the middle. Lots of movement. This can only go badly as the 95 and the 40 trying to block that top side as Kyle Roberts, Joseph Mahar going to jump down to the bottom in front of Anthony Edgerton. So the 48 ready to go, making it 3 wide. But the top two, the Checked Out Racing guys, they move up and block that run as they want to control this race. They want to have control of this thing as we get down to the end. That opens the bottom line up to get a couple cars out front that can start to work both lanes if they need to, but electing to stay there on the bottom, stay nose to tail as George Williams gets a big run, topside getting a fantastic push as they are really, really working together up on the top side right now. Well, no doubt, calm before the storm. Who's going to make the wrong move? Who's going to make a late move that makes everything go wrong? You see some guys out back just hanging around. See some movement up front. That always makes me nervous when I see trucks peek in, peek out, peek in, peek out. There's just so much that can go wrong, especially when you're pushing a guy. You want to stay right there on the middle of his bumper. But I tell you what, that is a skill that is hard to master because it takes two people. The driver up front, if he's looking in the mirror, he's trying to adjust to the person behind him. That can make it so much worse as they sort of get kind of crossed up and both of them going opposite directions. The 88 just needs to look out his front windshield and trust that the 91 is going to push him. But you see the 91 just sort of all over the place. It makes me nervous. Don't push on that right rear that bumper. That we've already seen that go badly. Oh, it is getting aggressive. You can feel it. You taste it. I can feel it and taste it all at the same time as everybody getting closer, pushing harder, being more aggressive. We're going to start to see these guys in the back start to feel it out and go, okay, it's time to go. We are coming to 6 laps to go here. Oh, Willie all over the place, going back and forth, just trying to focus in on that back bumper. You see him kind of wiggling there. Go down into turn number 3. 48, we've already seen him jump up high. Looks like he wants to go again. Chris Bedwell going to shut the door. Ooh, got to be careful with that. There's a certain amount of brakes that you give, but as we get down to the closing laps, lifting is not an option. We already saw the 48 wanting to go. I would imagine that Valvoline truck is the one we got to watch for to make a move. But who's going to do it? I mean, you see Kyle Roberts there in the middle, just looking, just going, hey, I'd like to go right through here, but just doesn't have the run to do it. And always going to have to close that bottom. Almost left it open for too long. And Anthony McPherson in that 28 red and white machine almost closed that hole up and sent him to the back. Five laps to go. Charles Stevens with the lead. Who's going to make the move that's going to throw a wrench in this whole deal here? I've got to be watching that 48. The 48 and the 8 and the 2. Those are teammates. They're hooked up with the checked out racing guys on the top line. But I got to be watching for that 48 and 8 to make a move here in the closing laps. As we go on board with the 48, let's watch and see. We've seen the 95 sort of block off, and the 40 block off those runs. You can see just not really much place to go. He's going to do. That's what I'm talking about right there. When you're blocking those lanes like they are, I mean, Bedwell does not want to let them guys get around him. That really would throw a parachute in that top line. We saw the 48 let out of the throttle there. As we get down to the end of this thing, that lift is not going to happen. So the 95 playing a very dangerous game of blocking that 48. He's doing all he can, though. He knows that they're wanting to do something. Kyle Roberts not waiting around. He's going to jump up to the middle of the line by himself. Not able to get that done. As leaders come around, looks like Anthony Anderson pulls off the track, lets the leaders do their thing. He goes down pit road. There's the 48 again down the middle, but the 95 blocking that pass. '95 trying to block for his teammate. You see him really. There he goes. This is it. Yep, there it is. It was bound to happen, and there, big one as the 48 goes around, and so does everybody else. The 95 of Chris Bedwell goes around, and the big one happens here with just a few laps to go. See Alan Smith with a little bit of damage. Kip Easley, who has been out front all race long, is now got quite a bit of damage. Chuck Feltz, again, he's still spinning out as he was involved in that as well. It all started with the 48. I just felt like that was brewing for a while. As we'll stop it right here and get the 48 on screen. As I'm blind as a bat and I cannot find the 48. There he is. And that's, of course, James Kunkel. And you're just going to see that middle's going to open up, and he's going to fill that gap. And, Chris Bedwell trying to block it as best he can. And, eventually rent comes due, and that's just been brewing for so long. And there's that big gap right there in the middle. The 48 going to try to shoot the gap, make his move, and then a little bit of net code really kind of started all that. But that took out majority of the cars in the top 10. Michael Nash comes in at the end. All kinds of drivers tore up after that one. But George Williams currently out front. Going to get our first green-white checkered of the night. And we have a lot of tore-up trucks. I'll tell you what. While we have some time, let's dial up a couple drivers and see what they're feeling like. George Williams, this is Eddie in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir, Eddie. How we doing, buddy?
Well, we're doing good, and you look like you're doing fantastic as you're out front. You've been that way for a while, and here on this green-white checker, you got the lead. You lost your teammate in that deal there. What's your plan here to try to get this win?
Got an old friend in P3 here. I think I'm going to start on the inside. I think Joe Mahar in the 46 may be able to push me around to a lead, at least race it to the finish. I just got to say, man, most of the time these long races like this, by the time we get here, I'm ready for a bathroom break. I just want to give a shout out to the sponsor, Sparco Racing Depends on the hood tonight for helping keep me dry and in the lead up front here. So I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, all right, man. Well, good luck.
I appreciate you, Eddie.
There you have it, George Williams. Shouting out his Depends for keeping him in the race. And he's out front on this green-white checkered. We'll see if we get the lights out on the pace car. And lights are out on the pace car. We'll talk to Charles Stevens. Charles, this is Eddie in the booth. You got me?
I got you, man.
Well, you're going to be outside of the front row on this green-white checkered. What you going to do? What's your plan to get this win here tonight?
I don't know if any of the competition's listening, Eddie, but I'm going to, hopefully then I'm going to try to side draft a little bit. Mike's a new guy. I don't know how good he is pushing. Hopefully he's a hero here and gets me to the front.
Well, you're already at the front, so you don't have to get there. You just need to be there when the checker flag waves. So I'm going to let you go. Good luck. We'll hopefully be talking to you at the end here.
Awesome. Thank you, man.
There you have it, Charles Stevens Jr. getting ready for this race. And you see we're missing quite a few people. Anthony McPherson, Willie Everingham, Michael Nash, Anthony Edgerton, Matt Clemon, all out of this thing. So you still see some trucks back there with damage. Charles Stevens talking about Mike Presley and that Tennessee truck behind him. But Mike's got a little bit of front end damage. We'll see if that materializes. Well, just a wild and crazy race, but here we are getting ready to settle it. We'll see if we can get to that white flag and get us a finish here and crown ourselves a winner here at Daytona. Pace car going to pull off. We're going to call the action all the way in. Let's see who's got what it takes. Maybe there's a surprise winner out there. We're going to find out. Green flag is out. Ooh, Charles Stevens going to actually get a jump there. I don't know if that was intentional. I don't know if that's going to get him a black flag or not because he actually beats the 42 the start-finish line, but as long as he went when it was green, he should be good to go as the 40 gives him a huge shove, moves the 88 up out of the groove. And guys, what in the world's going on? Everybody's all over the place. But George C. Williams roots the 88 out of the lead. And don't look now, the 17 all over the back bumper of the 46 as they go down the back straightaway. He's going to jump up front, pick up his teammates. Boy, this is going to be a finish right here as it looks like some drivers with some damage just having trouble staying with the pack. And here we go. Charles Stevens going to get locked up with the 17. White flag is out. He gives a big push to the 17. The 17 is going to get loose. They come apart. That's great for the 40 and the 46. They got to get reconnected here as here comes the pack. The 88 is going to get to the back bumper. You got to be smart here. Here comes the 95, though. He knows he can get up to the front. Big push from the 88, but here comes the 95. Are they going to block? What's going to happen here? What's the 95 going to be able to do by himself? The 88 push. Oh, a big wreck. Joseph Mahar gets wrecked on the back straightaway as Chris Bedwell gets down into that apron. The 88 pushing the 17. Here comes the 79. Josh Lokovitz. Mr. Where did he come from? As they're going to block the lane. It is Pole Man 1, 2, 3 with George Williams. And they're still wrecking behind him. And oh, there goes Lokovitz. And my goodness. Aaron Adcock is going to get that win with Charles Stevens in tow. And third place is going to be George Williams as, oh my God. What in the world was that? Let's go back and watch that again. You see that final lap there is Charles Stevens gives the bump to the 17, gets him loose. They break apart, but that was almost the best thing that could happen because then they were able to get reconnected and get that momentum coming through at the right time. But here comes the just the wrench in the whole thing. As Chris Bedwell out on the edge there. Oh, my goodness. I don't really know. Couldn't really see. Horrible camera work from the producer here. But you see Chris Bedwell on that outside trying to make it work. Chuck trying to side draft just a little bit. Yeah, I don't really understand what happened there. It looks like Bedwell thought he was just going to clear himself across the 75. I don't know. I don't know if he got loose or what. You saw a little wiggle out of that 95 machine. But yeah, just comes across the nose. And that was all that the front two needed as they were able to keep that momentum going. And Josh Lokovitz with a huge run gets up to the back bumper of these three. And then it's basically, it looks like it's just try to block George C. Williams as they're just all over each other. I'll tell you what, these camera angles are just awful. Yeah, I don't know. George trying to get up there and do a little side drafting. And it sends the 79 around into the pit road, and the 40 going to finish in third sideways across the start-finish line. But your winner, though, Aaron Adcock, in that number 17 machine, takes home the win in dramatic fashion. Gets the win here. He's doing a Polish victory lap going around backwards. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's talk to our winner as we got the post-race show presented by Po Man Motorsports, which is pretty fitting here. Make it a little bit smaller so it doesn't cover up that. Let's talk to these fellas. All right, here we are with Aaron Adcock, the winner tonight at Daytona. First race of the season, and got yourself a win, locked into the playoffs. Congratulations, Aaron. Talk about that race a little bit.
Well, I wasn't able to make it last week, so I had to start towards the back of the field tonight, and since I didn't make the dual races, and yeah, I don't know, these plate races, it all comes down to strategy and a little bit of luck, and I don't know, it started off kind of wild tonight with that first lap caution that we had, and I thought I had 11 seconds of damage then, and then it was just a matter of keeping the truck clean and all that kind of good stuff. And right there towards the end, I knew something was getting ready to happen, so I kind of backed off a little bit. And all my guys on the team said, "Oh, they're wrecking, they're wrecking, they're wrecking." And I saw how many trucks had damage, and I knew I didn't get any damage. And come to that green white checkered, I knew I was going to have a clean truck. So it was just picking the right line, making the right move, deciding when to start racing, and had my affiliate teammate behind me pushing me, and I tell you, it felt good having two Apex trucks headed towards the front right there with Barney with the checker flag.
Ain't nothing like a good advertisement like winning.
That's right.
Well, talk about that last lap though, as Charles Stevens gave you a monster push, got you a little bit loose. You're able to hang on to it, but that almost seemed like exactly what you needed, because y'all were able to back up a little bit and sort of time that run as you're coming around to take the checker flag, and y'all had a head of steam there. It'd been interesting to see how it played out without the wreck, but that's what you needed. After getting that bump, were you a little nervous, or did you feel like, oh yeah, this is going to work out pretty good?
No, I was a little nervous. We had a league race Sunday night at Daytona, and in another league, and just I don't know. It just seemed like every time you touched a truck, you didn't even have to hit them, just touch them, and it wanted to push the truck to the wall or towards the outside line. And I had that in the back of my head all night when I was pushing George earlier in the race. I didn't want to push him too hard. I didn't really want to lay on his bumper. I just kind of wanted to put my truck there and let the air push us. And when Charlie hit me, I was anticipating it, but I wasn't expecting it to get the truck that far out of line. And when it did, he rolled out, thank goodness, and I gathered it back up. And the momentum that I saw coming in my rearview mirror, I knew that if he didn't hit me too hard the second time, we was going to have a freight train headed to the checker flag. And yeah, I threw a little bit of a block on him there a little bit. I didn't know if we were friend or foe. I didn't know if we'd made it to that point yet where he was going to fight for the win or not. But once we hit turn 4, he told me, he said, "Get down, get down." So I knew at that moment that he was there to help and let it make sure that we finished 1-2 and not try to wreck each other and something crazy happened where neither one of our teams got the win. So kudos to him. I appreciate that.
Yeah, well, way to overcome some adversity, having being involved in some wrecks, being towards the back, being towards the front, being towards the back, and then ultimately getting back up to the front. And that's exactly what you need to get that win. So congratulations on race number 1 in the Apex truck, winning the first race, the Apex Sim Racing E-Series Showdown. So congratulations. As always, who you got to thank? Any sponsors or shout-outs?
Well, I tell you, after tonight, I learned it's a whole lot easier to do it on the first race instead of trying to do it the last race prior to the playoffs starting. So who knows, maybe that'll be a little bit stress-free the rest of the season. A little bit can kind of work on the playoffs. But, of course, the main sponsor of the league, Jimmy at Apex Sim Racing, talked with him today. He's a great guy. He's giving away a button box to the season champion again this season. Appreciate everything that he does for us. My wife, my little boy, my little girl, my mom and dad, my grandparents, my Uncle Tracy, who's a teammate of mine as well. Not too many people can say they race with their uncle on Thursday nights on a computer, so that's pretty exciting as well. And yeah, all the sponsors for the league, Chuck Feltz, Low Cash Motorsports, Kinder Farm and Ranch, Trigger Time, In Range Shooting Range, Kyle Roberts Handmade Custom Leathers, and the post race show presented by Po-Man Motorsports. I'm tickled to death to be starting the season off at this high of a note, and all the guys at Po-Man and Low Cash. We tore some trucks up tonight, but maybe with a 1-2 finish, we can get some trucks ready for Vegas next week.
Well, if they didn't want you to wreck them, they wouldn't put fenders on it, Aaron. So
that's right.
Come
well,
on.
I'm gonna tell you something. I think we're taking 2 trucks home in one piece.
Well, all right,
and
man.
the rest of them are getting new ones.
Well, congratulations on the win. Go enjoy it. Go celebrate.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Eddie.
There you have it. Aaron Adcock with the win. Just a exciting race, but let's talk to second place finisher Charles Stevens, who brings it home in second in that 88 machine, pushing Aaron to the win. Congratulations on the second place finish. I know you probably wanted that win, but second place, not too bad. Talk about your race, man, and talk about the finish there as y'all were coming down to the checkered flag.
It was a great race. I was just telling George and all them in the waiting room, I usually finish these races upside down, or I don't finish them, so a second place finish is always a plus. But yeah, that last green white checkered, I don't know if he was sleeping a little bit, but I got down, I pushed him down a little bit, and then the green flag came out, and I got a pretty good run on him, and he gave me a shot, and it lifted my back end off the ground, and I almost lost it. So I went back to the outside instead of causing a wreck, and then Aaron got behind me there and helped me a little bit. But yeah, like I said, if I wasn't gonna get that win, I'm glad the boss man got it. So at least I could collect another check for another day.
That's right. Well, hey, a pretty exciting race for you. You were up in the mix all race long. What were you dealing with the most out there? What did you find was the toughest? I mean, we've raced trucks at super speedways a lot, but what did you feel like was hardest for you tonight? What were you really struggling with, and maybe something that you felt like you were doing really well?
I think the biggest struggle, for some reason, it was a lot of checkups on the top side at times. So basically, getting out of that instead of causing a wreck, I think I did cause one wreck. I got into the back of Alan there. But yeah, the pushing was pretty rough, and for some reason, man, when you got into the back of someone pretty good, it felt like it lifted the back end off the ground. So you had to be careful on your shoves out front. But that was probably the hardest thing. But just staying up front and staying out of the trouble and all the mayhem that was happening there at the end was definitely the key to staying up and finishing second.
Well, second you finished. Congratulations. As always, who you got to thank? Any sponsor shout outs?
Just start off with my team, with Aaron over in Po Man and all my teammates over in Low Cash Motorsports, and then you, Eddie, doing the broadcasting, and then Jimmy over at Apex that basically helps us, gets this league going, and everything else that he does. And then my wife and family and everyone that watches that supports me in iRacing.
Well, all right. Well, congratulations, Charles. Second place finish. Congratulations.
Awesome. Thanks, Eddie.
There you have it. Charles Stevens Jr. with that second place finish. Let's talk to our third place finisher, George Williams. George said, you got me?
Yes, sir. Got you, man.
Well, we talked to you. Was trying to get that win, and luckily you had your depends on there for that last little bit as you went for a ride through the grass, maybe a couple skid marks to take home with you too. But third place, I know you wanted the win, but dadgummit, sometimes third place ain't bad, especially with how crazy and messy this race kind of was.
And Eddie, I showed up tonight with two goals, and that was to race the entire night no matter what, and the second goal was to have fun. Man, I succeeded beyond compromise with both of those goals, so I'm ecstatic about that.
Well, I was talking in the middle of the race. It seemed like, and I said this, and you go back and watch it, so you know I'm not lying. I said that 40 truck looks like somebody I want pushing me at the end. Do you feel like you was a pretty good pusher tonight? Did you feel like that was your strong suit? Because it just seemed like whenever the 40 got to your back bumper, you were going to the front.
Well, Eddie, I mean, I felt confident. I've been practicing being more aggressive pushing. I've always been a little bit more passive. But I will tell you something since one of these last updates. Manufacturer on the same manufacturer is pushing these trucks to the wall. It doesn't matter if you hit them square. It doesn't matter if you hit them soft. It doesn't matter if you hit them clean. It doesn't matter if you just barely touch them. It wants to push you up to the wall. And that time that I came down and almost, committed vehicular manslaughter on James Kunkel, I had pushed Bedwell just a little bit, and he went up to the wall, and it pushed me down the track. So I mean, I felt pretty confident pushing, but there's something weird about it's like a Ford pushing a Ford or Chevy pushing a Chevy seems like it's a problem right now in these. You can get that little bubble and you can push the air, but contact is just, it's not happy on the same manufacturer, it seems like. But yeah, I enjoyed pushing. I just enjoyed racing all night. I was looking for opportunities to go 3 wide or whatever. I was just having a good time.
Well, I definitely saw what you're talking about. We noticed just some weird behavior with how trucks were moving around, some contact, that just seemed a little off. So it seemed like maybe the iRacing servers seem to think the trucks maybe are a little bit, wider than they actually are, or something. Something definitely seems off. So I believe you're probably right. But regardless, you were able to overcome all that and be up front most of the night, and at the end had your shot. Just with that contact, I think Joseph Mahar was your best friend, and once that contact happened behind, it took him out. Did you kind of feel like you was on an island there?
Oh yeah, I was hung out to dry, but I want to give a huge shout out to Checked Out Racing and our team leader Chris Bedwell. He's the reason I was up front for so long for sure. And man, he was fighting off those people behind, trying to make it 3 wide, and he got wrecked because of it. But he took one for the team. And Anthony Edrington and Dana Shepard had some bad luck early in the race. Got where he had to use his fast repair early because he got hit under caution, which was unfortunate. But want to welcome, he's not here tonight, but Chris Carroll to the team. We're excited to have him. We got double Chris power now, and we're looking forward to them putting up some big points this year. But really want to also thank Joseph Mahar, because I know that Joseph Mahar from previous leagues I've been with him, he honestly, that restart, his whole thought process, he's already told me, was I want to get George a win. Everybody seems to be so nice wanting me to get a win, so I appreciate it. I'm excited for Aaron Adcock for getting the win tonight. I'm grateful for this league and how he puts it on, and congrats to Charles Stevens too. I thought Charles was going to get a black flag. In my view, he started in front of me and faster than me on that restart when the green came out. I was like, oh, I think he got black flagged. I was telling my chat that, and fortunate he didn't. But yeah, when they all came by me, and I'm not sure who it was, if it was, it might have been Alan that came across my nose there, that probably would have had third if he'd have just stayed up high. But I think whoever that was, came down across my nose, and I ended up third across the line through the grass, because the person that had a run on me, came down, and I think I spun him to the infield, unfortunately.
Well, we'll charge it to Daytona, and they can pay the bill. That's the way it always seems to go. Well, congratulations, George. Great third place finish. Good race all around for you, and luckily you were able to get the finish to show for it. So congratulations on third place. Looking forward to see what Checked Out Racing can do for the rest of the season. I think going to be a contender for the championship for sure.
Thanks for everything you do, Eddie, and you have a blessed night, man.
Thank you. You as well, George Williams, with that third place finish. And with that, let's go through the standings and see where everybody else finished. As we kind of watched as there was some wrecks there at the end. Let's see where everybody ended up. All right. Well, we obviously know the top three. Alan Smith in that number 3 truck, able to avoid some carnage there at the end and snuck in there with that fourth place finish, kept that truck relatively clean, and want to congratulate him on a fantastic finish there at the end. Josh Lokovitz, the one that was spinning across George C. Williams' front bumper, coming to the checker flag, was still able to finish in 5th. So congratulations to him. Joseph Mahar comes home in 6th. Mike Presley in 7th. Daniel Holdcroft, excuse me. Sorry, guys. I'm going to get your names right. It's just going to take some time. Kip Easley in that 9th place. 10th, Kyle Roberts. 11th, James Kunkel. They could have come in with some easier names. I'm just saying. I'm from Mississippi. We got to have it simple, like Chuck Phelps. That's what we need, and he finished in 12th. Chris Bedwell in 13th. 14th, Anthony McPherson. 15th, Willie Evernham. 16th, Michael Nash. 17th, Anthony Edrington. 18th, Matt Clement. 19th, Dana Shepard. And 20th, Tracy Passons, 48 laps down. Well, we still have some awards we got to give out. That was the post-race interviews by Po-Man Motorsports. But, yeah, your hard luck award, I don't know, man. I have a hard time coming up with just one person who had really, really bad luck. Because everybody, I was going to give it to Josh Lokovitz, who ended up behind the field multiple times, but dadgummit, if he didn't end up finishing 5th. I felt like he was going to be the hard luck award winner, but I'm going to give it to James Kunkel, who I feel like was up there in a good spot. Chris Bedwell was playing so defensive that just didn't have a lane to go and just decided it's time to go, and they make contact and he kind of goes around. But I thought he did a really good race. Just didn't have anywhere to go, I guess. So he's going to be the Trigger Time Jammed Up Award winner, as he tried to make a move with 2 to go, tried to make it 3 wide, and the hole just closed up. Just nowhere to go. So ended up in 11th though, but a good race nonetheless. Hard Charger Award winner. Well, dadgum if it ain't the winner himself, Aaron Adcock. 17 positions he gained to come home in first place, started 18th. And he is the Kyle Roberts Hard Charger Award winner. So congratulations to Aaron winning the race and the Hard Charger Award. That is a good night. Well, all right. Well, dadgum, man, we are ready to go. Call it a night. I am wore out. That was insane. A lot of fun. Looking forward to get this thing started. Sorry about all the little issues that we had getting this thing going, but we'll get all that stuff tightened up as we continue on through this schedule. But yeah, thank everybody for watching. Thanks for all the sponsors, of course. We've already shouted out. Of course, we want to thank Apex Sim Racing Gear. Definitely go check them out over at the website, apexsimracing.com, and go check the website out. They got a nice little site. You can go look and see what all they've got, all the prices, the different things. Of course, a lot of button boxes, but you got wheels, you got buttons, you got cables and connectors, DIY stuff, Fanatec wheelbases, shifters, clutches. I mean, all kinds of stuff. I mean, I don't know. You got to be careful going to that website. I'm gonna be honest. You end up with half that stuff. You have to be careful, and it's all handmade stuff. So definitely thank Jimmy over at Apex Sim Racing for being the main title sponsor. But I'm gonna get out of here. I'm Eddie with Rebel Racing Network, and we will see y'all next week. Y'all have a good night.